Uh, I do not know what I want to do when I grow up. I really don't.
With 500 students for every guidance counselor, America's low-income high school students are in desperate need of career advice.
I never really thought about asking anybody about, for advice or anything because I didn't have too many people to ask.
With Career Village, students can ask any question about any career, so they can get the advice needed to prepare for brighter futures.
So hi, my name is Jared, and I'm a founder at careervillage.org, and we are reinventing how young people prepare for the world of work. I want to start with this New York Times article, it was published recently, exploring how unready America's youth are for the jobs that we need them to fill. And their conclusion was that the future looks bleak for America's youth. You may not know it, but we are in the worst youth employment crisis that this country has seen since World War II, and it is really not hard to see why. There are 500 students for every guidance counselor in America. That means that as a high school student, you get on average 8 minutes one-on-one with a guidance counselor each year. And I experienced this firsthand. I grew up in New York City. I went through the public school system. I had a family that was facing financial troubles. And I had an overloaded guidance counselor. But I was very lucky. I also had a couple of mentors in my life who volunteered their time to help me create my first career plan, figure out how to get into college, and most importantly, they opened up their networks to me so I could get the advice that I needed to prepare for my first job. And I got a great first job. I was a consultant at McKinsey & Company. So I was really inspired by my mentors, and I turned back and started mentoring low-income youth about careers. So I learned as both a mentee and a mentor that it takes a village to help a young person prepare for their career. And that's why we created Career Village. On our platform, students post career questions that we automatically compare against the LinkedIn profiles of our volunteer pool. And that enables us to send the right requests to the right people to get them answered quickly. And this is usually the first time that these students have ever had a real conversation with an adult about careers before, which makes it a really life-changing experience for them. This is what happens, by the way, when you ask them what it feels like to get career advice from an adult. This is fundamentally different from the traditional solutions in education because we're using crowdsourcing, which is much more scalable. And it shows. Already over 500,000 people have used the advice on Career Village over the past 2 years to begin preparing for their futures. This advice covers over 8,000 career topics. It comes from volunteers from all walks of life. This is just the beginning because there are 8 million students in a high school living in a low-income community in America, and we want to serve every single one of them. We can do that with your help. I want to ask you to join our movement today by signing up on careervillage.org and answering one question from one student before you go to sleep tonight. I also want to ask you to consider making a contribution. You can support our operations by sponsoring all the career advice for an entire high school for $1,000. Apparently Google will match you, so that's 2 schools. Thank you, Google, that's amazing. You can also support our infrastructure by helping us get the money we need in order to build and launch our #1 most requested feature by students, native mobile apps for iOS and Android. This is definitely going to put career advice in the pockets of millions of youth. It's a really big deal. I want to stop there. I want to thank you very much for joining our movement, and I want to thank you very, very much for your time.